Steelers getting 2 new linebackers, Cole Holcomb and Elandon Roberts. Now, Steelers cut Myles Jack, something I told you could happen. The Steelers will save $8 million doing that. But Ike, to me, this leads to the splash plays. And it was something that they've lacked at the linebacker position, which is typically a position of strength for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Ike, too, Cole Holcomb, he wore the green dot on his helmet in Washington, which leads me to believe he's an effective communicator. He knows where guys are going on the field. And this, to me, you lose Brian Flores as a coach this offseason, but you're trying to fortify and solidify that front seven. And that's what these moves of Cole Holcomb and Elandon Roberts to the Steelers mean to me.
Yeah, what you getting with Cole is you getting a football player. You lose Brian Flores. Now he's the DC for the Minnesota Vikings, but you're getting not a DC, but you're getting a coach on the field in Cole Holcomb. And if you just look at what he did for the Washington Commanders, all he did was ball out in a few games. So what I mean by a few games, they was doing stat for stat, him and Devin Bush, and Coleman just always knew where the ball was. When you want to talk about getting in drops, getting in zones, picking the ball off, having the feel for where the quarterback is going, that's what he's doing. When you want to talk about blitzing a guy, getting to the quarterback, getting sacks, creating controversy, that's what Cole is doing. When you want to talk about wearing that green dot, the only time you wear that green dot is you got to get everybody lined up, and the defensive coordinator understands you're going to be right 90% of the time. That's Cole Holcomb. So when you're looking at Cole, man, you're looking at a guy who's just a football player. And when you have him on the field as a defensive coordinator, you know he's going to get everybody lined up by the way he make plays. So you talk about splash plays. Coach T talk about splash plays. He's a splash play guy. So it's a swap for a swap. You lose a DC, you wind up gaining somebody who's a coach on the field, and Cole Holcomb. He just so happened to be able to make all the plays. He can drop in his own, he can cover, he can blitz, and he's going to get everybody lined up. Everybody can't do that, but Cole can. When you talk about Elandon Roberts, you're talking about some depth at that linebacker position. So, and that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers needed. So, Pittsburgh just, I sat back, I haven't texted or talked to Coach T or Omar, but I'm just sitting back and I'm like, man, I'm giving A's. I'm giving them A's in the free agency on what they're doing, because right now, beefing the lineup, making sure you have depth at that linebacker position, getting guys who can fit the system. I'm looking at Omar, man. I'm like, Omar, you doing your thing. I'm looking at Coach T like, y'all on the same page.
Like with Roberts, 10 tackles for loss last season. Now let's combine the production of Devin Bush, Myles Jack, Robert Spillane. They had a combined 9 total. So you're talking about one player with the production of 3 players. Now, I get that schemes are different. I get that the talent around each of those players is different from team to team. But again, it's those splash plays, those difference-making plays that can win and lose ball games is what you need from the linebacker position, Ike. And I look back at like when you played and you think about, James Ferrier and Larry Foote and all of the stud linebackers, going way back in the day with Ham and Lambert. What's made this franchise so successful is the linebacker play. On the offensive side of the ball, it seems to be wide receiver, but the linebacker play has always been so special with the Steelers. And I hope that these moves help you get back to that point. Now, that's not to take away anything from what Myles Jack did this last season. Look, the run defense was a lot better. Devin Bush will have a new roster, I'd imagine. He hasn't been quite the same player since his injury, what started out as a promising career. And then Ike as well, I want to bring up this point too. I want to pour one out for Robert Spillane. I will never forget that goal line hit, that collision one-on-one with Derrick Henry a few seasons back against the Titans.
Yeah, shout out to Robert Spillane. Spillane, he's just an old school football player himself. But when you want to talk about Robert's 10 tackles for loss, when he typing his address on his mail or he giving somebody something, he typing, I live in your backfield, because that's exactly where that man live at. He lives in the opposing team's offense backfield. So the fact that you're getting one guy combined with 2 guys from what we had in the previous season, that says a lot about his instinctive play on knowing how to live in the backfield, so say.
And Ike, one other thing too. Coming over, he played for the Dolphins the last few years, is also a member of the Patriots, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So we talk about the veteran leadership, the presence of Patrick Peterson, bringing a winner into the locker room and knowing what it takes to achieve the highest success in the league. I don't think we can put enough on that, whether it's Peterson, whether it's Roberts, whether it's Holcomb with his communicating ability, again, having the green dot on his helmet. It's just that experience that other players don't have, regardless of how talented that they are in this league.
Yeah, they're Pittsburgh loading up quietly. Pittsburgh loading up quietly on the offense and the defensive side, but you can't put a price on experience. You can't put a price on a pro's pro, and I'm talking about Patrick Peterson. You can't put a price on losing the defensive coordinator but gaining a coach on the field and Cole Holcomb. And with Elandon Roberts, you can't put a price on. I mean, you can, but what I mean by it's good to have guys like them three I just named with Roberts living in the backfield, because you got to have a knack for getting to the quarterback or making plays in the backfield. And that's exactly what we do. So you got three different people at two different positions, but all of them been very successful, and the stats have proven it. With Patrick Peterson getting the 5 interceptions last year, Cole Holcomb getting interceptions and keeping guys lined up and living in the backfield, having sacks I think he had 4.5 sacks. And you're getting Elandon Roberts, who just lives in the backfield, period. So Pittsburgh, so far, so good, man. They've been doing their thing in the free agency.